This question's for all the candidates. As being student body president and vice president is just one small facet of what it is to be part of student government. What experiences do you have in working with the rest of student government, and how do you plan on fostering the relationship between student government executive with GSA and undergraduate student senate?
Do you care who starts? Okay. I haven't really worked with student government that much. I've worked with the activities board a little bit, but yeah, no, I'm a newcomer to student government. I've worked with actual government a little bit. Like, I've been to court mad times, and I've seen how that works. So I think bringing that real world experience is really good, because we've seen how effective and efficient the actual government is, and so taking those lessons from the courthouse and applying them to here is really important. Yeah.
Could you just repeat the question one more time so I have it clear?
As student body president and vice president is just one small part of student government as a whole, what experiences do you have working with student government, and how do you plan on fostering the relationship between the student government executive with graduate student assembly and the undergraduate student assembly?
So I think that Micah and myself come in with a very interesting take on the situation. We have, as we said, as was brought up earlier, CMU Student Senate currently has lots of people that will probably be carrying on to the next semester, and they bring a lot of good, valuable experience into it. Beyond that, the GSA also goes on rotation in such a way that they reinforce sustainability and give some kind of lead-in for the next executives in. And of course, Timmy's going to be helping us with the transition period. But for us, we come in looking with the perspective of we didn't engage too much in student government. We're coming with an outside perspective so we can shine a new light on the same problem. So if you have been involved in CMU Senate, that's definitely a huge plus. You're definitely bringing a lot of skills to the table that are very valuable. But we also think it's valuable for us to come with a new perspective, say, how about we tackle the problem this way? How about we look at it in a different light so we can come up with the best possible solution? And of course, I think I speak for all the candidates when we say that we'd like to continue our work with CMU no matter what, yeah? So does that answer your question?
Okay. I guess, can you just re-ask the question? I'm sorry. I want to make sure that yeah.
As being student body president and vice president is just one small part of student government as a whole, what experiences do you have working with student government, and how do you plan on fostering the relationship between student government exec with GSA and undergraduate student senate?
Okay. Well, I've worked with Student Senate for the past 2 years, so I do have, I guess, student government experience. I have worked in student government. But I think really the important part of fostering those relationships and actually like looking at the executive position and taking it and to the legislative branch of student government is really about like approach. One of the things that we've done over and over again in student government is just really look at what is going on. Like what do we want student government to do? What can the president be doing? What can the president ask of GSA? What can GSA ask of the president? What can the president ask of Senate? What can Senate ask of the president? It's really important that we look at all of the things that student government is doing, really couple those relationships, really foster all of those conversations, just go out and try absolutely different methods of doing things. It's really about student government. Sorry. Honestly, I think that my experience in student government and the work that I've done outside of student government really assists our ticket with being able to foster those conversations. Kate has worked on numerous initiatives and those types of things, and we really have the balance to bring a new and different take on student government and foster those relationships.
I forgot to answer a small part of that question, being the bulk of it, but to get the graduate student and the undergraduate student senate to work together, I think we would just throw more Greek pride festivals with the Great Leaves.
Okay, so one of the things that actually, Casey, you reminded me of is that you mentioned the Berkeley protests, and if I remember, those were about the 30% tuition increase. So I know there's actually been a lot of similar things going on here with like the 1% tuition tax and the tuition increases this year. So I was wondering, what are you guys going to do to keep like costs down for us?
Okay. So I guess the important thing is to really understand like the outlook of like where do those tuition costs and those things come from. Student government worked hard in the fall to really bring down. We worked with the administration to make sure that the 1% tax wasn't implemented. It's unfair to charge students any money for just living in Pittsburgh as a student. So that was something that we took head on, and we made sure that we did prevent from happening. I think when we look at tuition and things like that, really talking to the administration, making sure that the administration understands that that we can't afford high and tuition increases and those types of things, and really having those conversations. Why is tuition increasing? Is it because we need to sustain our academics? Is it because we need to make sure that Carnegie Mellon stays a strong as a strong institution in Pittsburgh? And really trying to look at, well, if you're going to raise tuition and those types of things, is there going to be some financial aid for students? Are there going to be extra scholarships? Are there going to be extra resources? I think that the administration has definitely taken a very, very good approach with trying not to increase tuition especially during the recession. They've cut a lot of budgets within the administration, and it's probably we'll see those over the next few years. But those things are something that I think that student government in the past has worked on with the administration on, and we will continue to do that if we're elected.
All right, from our side, most of our programs that we have out there, if they're not cost-free, they're making money. So STEM is put in place so that students can earn money. Organizations can do work, earn money to fund their organizations. As far as the other things like CMU Central, target rewards, things like that, we're going to work. I said CMU Central is the cost of electricity. We really don't want to promise anything that'll make the students pay more for things that they're not going to use every day. So if you're an organization and you're using CMU Central, then you're not taxing everybody else, everyone else's student life. You're not making them pay more. So we're all about keeping our budget tight, making sure we don't put a burden and pass it on to the students at large. As far as budgets in general, I cannot tell you what Carnegie Mellon is spending the money on, most because I'm pretty sure a lot of it's secret underneath Wien Hall and bunkers. So I'm not going to touch that. But I can say that as heads of the executive branch, we will make sure that whatever we're responsible for, we will keep everything on tight budget. We'll make sure that if we spend money, we spend it wisely so that whatever is given to us, we'll be responsible for. And then we'll try to encourage that same sense of responsibility to everyone else that holds budget positions.
I'm fully prepared to fight the power if need be. So if tuition costs are raised, I would be willing to organize around that. But also, I think they should be more transparent in their budget. I don't know if we'll ever really get that. We can try. We could fight the power together later. But on an individual basis, on like day-to-day things for students to save money, I think we need like a free store, like a free market. That's just like a room somewhere in one of the buildings where everyone can like drop off and pick up things. But I mean, that goes against like the principles of capitalism. So in order to make money off of it, you'd have to pay a tax on the air you breathe while you're in the free store. And you could put your air on layaway. It'd be really cool. And there'd be like structural adjustment loans. So like you would get a loan to pay back the debt you owed to the market, but you'd have to take away the trade barrier between medical researchers and your lungs. And yeah, it'd be pretty cool. So yeah. Also, I like go through garbage a lot, and I can personally show people around where the good garbage is.